Hi, welcome back. Welcome back to yet another tutorial when it comes to, of course, well, whatever it is that I decide that I'm going to do within this one here. What I am just going to do is I'm just going to mute you for 2 seconds. Now, the only reason I've done that is because I have just turned my certain device. Let me just close my door as well. And the reason being is I do like to have a little bit of background noise on. However, if said device catches it on YouTube, sometimes it can mute my partial parts of past videos because of copyright stuff. So just had to make sure there that it's low enough that it's not going to catch it. And I think it was just a little bit too high. So anyway, sorted now. Welcome back. Now, if you watched, as I am filming this, I'm filming this on Tuesday the evening, Tuesday the 23rd of, no I'm not, Tuesday the 26th of September. Let's get the date right. I'm a couple of days out. I had filmed and popped out previously a lengthy tutorial when it comes to our Christmas scene layerable stamps. And that one was a little bit more of a time consuming one because it was a project where not only did we use the stamps, but then we created that Santa Claus outer concept for the card. Within this one here, we're going to go back to another collection of Christmas layering scenes. And within this one, what we're going to do is we're going to use the reason for the season. So we're going to be using this one here. But what we're going to do is we're going to rein it back in. It's going to be quite a simplistic card. This one is going to be, because it's going to be really good, it's going to be really quite spectacular for batch making when it comes to Christmas cards. Now, within that whole range, what we did have is we had the beautiful baubles, we had the decorative garland, we also then had our festive flurry, decorate the tree, robin redbreast, we had festive foliage, and then we had our festive wreath. And then, of course, the one that we're going to be using, the reason for the season. So with these ones here, what we're going to be doing is using the stamps, using the dies. As I said, keep it quite simplistic when it comes to the layout of the card that we're going to be making. And what we're going to do is, I've got a 7x7 card. Now, I may actually rein it back into a 6x6. I just kind of want to get, of course, the sizing, the visual of the sizing just right. And then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to use a couple of elements from Oh Holy Night. Now, I might use the 6x6, I might use the 12x12, I'm not sure yet. Just depends on the size that I go for and how much of the imagery that I do want to see. I'm going to do a little bit of heat embossing as well when it comes to this one, but this one really is more just about the concept of the layering stamps. Because with the layering stamps, each of the levels, they've got a little 90-degree corner, which are going to work perfectly for all of your stamping platforms. In all honesty, I don't really focus on the 90-degree angle. I just tend to visually line them up on top of each other. Now, I did have these on Hobby Maker, and it was that busy that I've not had a chance to clean these. So what I'm just going to do, certainly within this one here, because I had my metallic ink pad on, so I've not had a chance to clean that. And I'm going to be using that one, but I'm going to use it with more of a yellow tone. Actually, I might use the gold. Might use the gold. We'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. Let's give this a little bit of a wipe and a clean, and then a dry off as well. Perfect. That's it done. So let's move that out of the way, and then let's crack on with our card. Now, with this one here, these are always really good when you can start to mix and match old and new. Of course, new works well on their own, old works well on its own, but of course you're spending your hard-earned money when it comes to the crafty goodies. It's best to get the most out of them. And then if you can then start to combine old and new together, that is perfect. New gives the old a new lease of life, and then the old gives the new an additional lease of life as well. So it's always good and interesting to see how simple you can make it by combining the two, or just go all out, all extravagant when it comes to layering the two together. So with the stamps, and when it comes to layering stamps, for me personally, I like to use my white multi-purpose. So that's what we're going to be using here. And I am kind of going to follow along with, of course, the colour suggestions that we've got on the back of the pack. So it's quick dry, it's honey pot, and then it's also noir black. I am using the honey pot quick dry, but then what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using the noir black pigment, because we're going to do a little bit of heat embossing over the top of our quick dry. So what I'm going to do is let's bring in our white multi-purpose to start with, and I'm just going to trim this down to, let's just do it to 5 by 5. Now at this point, for this, size is irrelevant, because once we've stamped, we're going to be cutting out. So if I then take my stamping platform, and then we're going to go in with our first layer. So let's go in with my stamps in here, and then start to layer up. So we're going to go in with our first one. So they are all numbered. So we're going to go in with number 1. And then what we're going to do within this one here, let me take this because I've not even cleaned this one either. So I'm not going to spritz this with solution. What I'm just going to do is I'm just going to use the residual liquid cleaning solution that's on my stamp cleaner, and then use that to clean. So once I've got that all nicely dried, what we can then do is we can then go in with our first layer ready to stamp. So using the honey pot, and we're using the quick dry for this one. So if I then take that away, and then I'm going to give this maybe about 2 or 3 impressions with our ink pad. So I want that to be a really strong but really smooth honey pot. So we're going to go and we're going to press in, and then we're going to apply that. So we're just going to apply that for a second time, and then we're going to come along, let my stamping platform settle, and then press, and then we're going to come along, and then what we're going to do is do that a third time. Now twice or 3 times or 4 or 5 times, it's personal preference. It's just I like to have that strong intense look, plus the more you do it the smoother it gets. So let's press that out, and then there is our main base image. So let's be good and let's clean as we go. So I know I've still got some solution here on my cleaning pad, so I'm not going to use any more. Use what's on there, and then I've just thought I don't want to be doing that on top of my image, because the last thing I want to do is move it. Although, to be fair, it doesn't really matter because I just layered direct over the top of my next stamp without using any grids. So let's go in with our next one. I'm going to give this a wipe and a dry, and then for this one what I'm going to do is come over the top. Now this is, remember when I say I do all of these in real time and I never edit them? And this is going to be a prime example, because I could very well just scrap this video, delete it, and then start from again, right? Start from the beginning, because I've done this wrong. But I'm not going to. Well, it's not that I tell it, it's not that I've done it wrong. It's just I've put my stamps in the wrong order. So this one should have been layer number 2. This one here should have been layer number 1. So I should have done that within the yellow. And then this one here has got a lot finer, a lot less detail. That's then going to come with the black to create that shadow. Now, because I've gone and done that first one first in the yellow, because this has got the fuller, the thicker image, when I ink that up with black and go over the top, I'm going to completely cover what I've just done. So that's my mistake. And then that goes to show as well how important it is to pop your stamps back where they should go. So I'm not going to waste this piece of card. I'm just going to come along and we're going to do it again. So this time we're going to be starting with number 1, but this time it is the right stamp that's on. So let's come in here. Let's get that lined up. And then we're going to press that into place. And we're going to start that one again. So we're just going to recap what I've done a moment ago with the correct stamp. And then when we come in with this one, press that in. And as I said at the start, I am going with the colour combinations that's suggested on the packet. And then that will give you the look of what's on the front image. But then you can play. You can play with the different colours. If you want to go in with greens and reds, you can do. If you're going to do what I'm doing and using elements from your Oh Holy Night, pick out colours from the Oh Holy Night. That would look fab. So let's ink that up. Like so. And then press that into place. And then move that out. So that is now my first one done and done correctly. So let's take that one off. Let's give that a clean, like so. And then let's pop that one back where it needs to go. So then I'm going to come in with the second one. And then what we're going to do is, again, this is where you could use that 90-degree corner. Or what I am doing is just coming in into here, lining up over the top, get that where I want. And then I'm happy. So I'm going to come in. Now this is quick dry that I'm using on that base layer. So essentially that will be dry. But just to make sure that none of my embossing powders just shortly stick to that, I'm just going to give it a waft over with my heat gun. Just to make sure that it is going to completely dry and not adhere with any of the embossing powder. Right, that will be more than enough. So then let's come back in. So remember, I'm going to go in with my pigment ink pad this time. And what I'm also going to do, this is a good time to explain this as well, because I'm going to use black embossing powder. And then I know I've explained this in the past, but for anyone that's never heard me say this, usually when it comes to embossing powder, we use our translucent clear ink pad, or sticky ink pad, of course, to grab the embossing powder. And of course, you can use that with the black. But if I'm using a coloured embossing powder, if I've got a matching ink pad from our pigment range, then what I'll do is I'll use that as well, because it really intensifies the colour. And what I mean by that is that's your black pigment ink pad, and that is then going to stick with our black embossing powder. So once you melt that, that really is going to be nice and strong and black, because you've got your black ink with your black powder. So as I said before, you can still absolutely, of course, you can be using your translucent clear, but it's just something that I do quite a lot when it comes to different colour embossing powders that I use. I will tend to, if I've got a colour coordinated ink pad, then I will do. I'll use that. We're going to come in and then we're just going to press. And for something like this, I don't necessarily have to do 2 or 3 presses with additional layers of ink. I just want to make sure that I have got a nice coverage of the Noir Black. Lift that up. And then what I am just going to do, just to ensure that I've got it nice and juicy all over. Let's give it a second impression because it can do no harm. Go in, let the plate sit, and then press. Remove, and then there we go. Happy with that, more than happy with that. So before I clean my ink pad, let me come along with just a scrap bit of copier paper out of my printer, which will do. And then let's come along with our black embossing powder. Like so. So, as always, I've forgotten to use my anti-static bag, which is the story of my life when it comes to heat embossing. I'm always forgetting to use that. So let's just going to go, and I'm not really bothered about the far outer edges because we're going to use the dye that comes with it. I just want to get close to these bits. So let's bring that back in. Like so. Let's be tidy, make sure we don't knock everything over. Now before I do melt that, let's take our, here's my cleaning solution, here we go. This one I am just going to spritz. And then let's give that a clean. Just really going to dirty up my cleaning side. There we go. So let's take that, and that. Let's move all that out the way. Let's bring in our heat gun. And then I'm just going to let that come to temperature. And then I'm going to start at one area, and as it melts, we're then going to be moving. So it'll be harder for you to see on camera. So let's go. So I'm going to start right at the edge. And then we're going to let that travel up. Work our way around. And then as it melts, we're going to move. As we go. And there we are. That is that. So we can see we've got all that nicely. Now that's not sparkly, that is just the light catching off my roof. But if you had sparkly I keep saying gilding flakes, if you had sparkly embossing powder, you could use that. So I'm just going to leave that just for a wee second, just for that to cool. I'm going to bring out the dye. I can set that out of the way. And then while that happens, let's bring in our card again. And let's use, how big's this die? So the length of it is 4.5. So let's say 5 by 5, because this is going to be our layer that it's going to sit on with our ray of light. Just going to wash my hands because I've got ink all over it. And I'm just transferring that through to everything that I'm touching. So let's go take that off. And then with the ray of light, I am thinking, let's go with the gold actually. Yeah, let's go with the gold, because I might do a matting layer with a little bit of satin gold. So what I want to do is, at this moment in time, I'm not quite sure where I want to have that ray of light. I don't know about you. I'm not a fan of Madonna whatsoever, but I just keep hearing ray of light. Ray of light. Ray of... Not that I can sing, but... So let's take that, and then I'm going to line up like so. Now this die is this set is definitely easier to do all the stamping and then die cutting. Oh, someone's going cray out there with their car. Let's bring in our plates. Now for this one, frosted, I'm going to take out my magnetic shim, because the chances of me needing it are very, very slim, because it is a nice simplistic outer edge. Always refer back to what Debbie Robinson tells you. Always refer back. So let's take this. So let's go back so you can see what I'm doing here. See, die cut perfectly without the magnetic shim. So let's take that out, and then also this one be really good just as a shaker or a frame. But now that I know where I want that, let's bring back in my stamping platform. Let's take that and that. So I want to try and get this as central as I can, because this is where I'm going to this is going to be our main base. So do I want the ray to be like that? Or do I want it to be a little bit further up? Yeah, kind of like it like that. Actually, do I want gold? Do I want gold? Yes, no, I do want gold, Craig, because I'm going to be using probably a little bit of gold satin. Let's press that into place. Let me look at... cups would be in front of all my metallic ink pads, wouldn't they? Please be gold, please be gold, please be gold. Bronze, typical. Please be gold. No. I really need to move my metallic ink pads closer. Probably why I don't use them as much, because they're out of sight. This gold, please be gold. Nope, blush. Nope, rose gold. Nope. What? Platinum? Nope. Excuse me, everyone, while I just chatting. Where's my gold? So there we go. What are you doing away back there? Here we go, we found it. Gold. Always believe in gold. So let's ink up. Turn around every now and then, I get a little bit closer. There we are, let's press that one in. And then we're going to give this one a few impressions. Oh, I quite like that unfinished kind of look, but no, let's give ourselves a few impressions. So let's press that in. To be fair, I think my ink pad is running a little bit dry. To be fair, it is about 4.5 years old. not longer. Let's do one more. Like so. So that's that one. Happy with that now. Although that is our Midas ink pad and it is still what we would class as... I knew I would drop my ink pad, do you know that? Let's move that out of the way. I'm really glad that you like seeing all these videos unedited, because you do get to pretty much see what I'm like when I have arguments with myself about where I've put things and where I've lost things and why I can't find it and all that sort of stuff. Right, all that I'm doing is, let's give this a clean. Right, back and forwards. Clean, clean, clean. To be fair, I should take a leaf out my own book when it comes to my crafting stuff. I really need to clean my house. It's not bad. You know, when you just need to do the housework. Starting to see just a few little bits of cobwebs appearing. And a little dust. You know, certainly at night. During the day it looks good. Looks fine. And then it's night time. You sit down. You put the low lights on. The TV lights on around the TV. You chill out on the couch. Sit back. Lie back. And then you see all the dust kind of reflection. You're like, yeah, I suppose it needs done. But crafting's more important. Far more important. Let's go in and let's take that one. So that's going to go all the way around there. Liking that, liking that. So I don't want any of these at the moment. I don't know if I want any of these. Not at the moment anyway. I'm just, like I say, just want to keep it simplistic. So if I bring that one in, what I might do is trim it a little. No. See, I'm just fighting with myself now. I'm arguing with myself. Let's go in with a little bit. I like that. I like that. Now, do I want any of this linen card? Or am I going to go straight in with satin gold? Let's go in with this blue here. Actually, what about, might be a bit controversial, but I'm thinking, yeah. Satin gold on the outer edge. It's just with this orange, it just pulls in the honey pot from the middle. Let's go in with my guillotine. Let's do a little bit of, little bit of trimming. Just set that out of the way. That, of course, 5 inches. So let's do just shy of 5 1/4. So this is 5 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 1/4 of an inch off there. And then 1/4 of an inch off there. So that's going to make it 4 3/4. I'm going to do the same with this one. So half a quarter of an inch of all four sides. And then that one can come down to 5 by 5. That's it, yeah. Just trim a little slither off of there. So if we go with that one, because this now could essentially, if you want to keep your cards really small, that can go on a little 5 by 5 card blank. You know, keep that completely flat. Little sentiment from the set that we will add a sentiment shortly, and then there's your card done. Batch make, even if you took out the step of the heat embossing and just done your quick dry, get through them really quick. So I just want to show that, you know, a 5 by 5 is absolutely viable, even although I do want to pop it onto a 7 by 7. So for this one, I think what I'm going to do with my 6 by 6, I'm also going to add that onto a little bit of that orange tone. I just want to make sure that this is with our 6 by 6. Sometimes I find one side is 6 inches and then the other side is maybe just like a mil or two shy of 6 inches. So I just like to make sure that I'm all evened up. And then what I'm going to do is, if I refer back to the video I done with our Christmas layerable scene stamps, and I talked about gutting what I class as luxury cardstock to me. Well, linen card to me is luxury. So I'm going to gut the centre of this card. Before I do any of that, let's just go in here. And then, yeah, I like that. I really do like that. Do you know something? I don't even know if I want to do a matte layer of gold satin on the outside. No, I probably will. Yeah, well. So, move that out of the way, move that out of the way. I can't even remember what I said that was now. Just after 6 inches. So let's do 6. Let's do just over 6 1/4. I'm just making sure my cardstock is straight. Let's go in. Let's trim it a little bit more. Now what I'm not going to do, and yet again I'm referring back to the video I'd done beforehand when I talked about luxury card. So both this cardstock is luxury to me, but I'm not going to gut both layers because I don't want to lose that stability. So at this point I'm now left with the choice of, well, what do I for me, what is more luxury than the other? And even although it's gold satin, linen cardstock is more of a luxury to me. I can easily get linen, or I can easily get satin cardstock in bundles at really good prices, whereas linen, although we'll do linen at good prices, you just never get as much. So therefore my choice is going to be the linen to gut. So your nesting dies, your scissors, your craft knife, or what I do like to use is my V-blade paper trimmer. So when I'm gutting, what I do, whether I'm doing it from the top or the bottom, I tend to come in round about the what is the 1/2 inch mark. So let's move that up there. So I tend to come in to the 1/2 inch mark that we can see here. Actually, let's do it from the top. So it's what I usually do and it's more understandable. So I tend to come along, because I always do thin mats and layers, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to that 1/2 inch. So now if I close, so if I say I want to get my blade up to the top here. Now if I close it and pull my blade up, I'm going to cut all the way up. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open the channel, and then I'm going to come along, and also what I'm going to do is where I've got that 1/2 inch mark here, what I'm going to do is where I've got that little ridge at the side of my blade housing, Going to make sure that's parallel to that 1/2 inch mark. And then once it's parallel, I'm just going to cut. My blade is right underneath where this little V is. So I'm going to come down, and I'm going to come down until 1/2 inch up, which is essentially about 5.5 inches. So I'm going to come down to 5.5, left, turn, going to go back into that same 1/2 inch mark, put my blade right up to the top, then close the chamber, and I'm going to come down again to 5.5, twist, so you can see there I've cut into here, up to 1/2 inch, down to cut to 5.5. You can see here, just need to give that a little nick there, and then into here, repeat again all the way down, and then there is my frame, so I can use that elsewhere. I could have used that for that layer there if I'd thought on, not to worry. Now the only point with this is when it comes to mat and layer a framework that's flimsy like that, it makes it a lot more difficult to do so. So I tend to layer on top. Now what I mean by that is I'll move it out the way. Oh, I forgot I've got this layer. Ignore what I said there because I've got this layer. What I will tend to do, as much as I love my double-sided tape, when it comes to something where we've got a flimsy, flexible framework, I'll tend to go in with my tacky glue, because it's just giving me that little bit of wiggle time. And when you've got that flimsy-esque wiggle to your card, what you really do want is that little bit of wiggle. So I'm just going round with a light sketch of glue. And then let's come in here, pop that into place. And then there we go, so I'm happy with that. Now at this point, what I can do, I can go back to my double-sided tape because I've got that stability with my pattern paper. And I know the pattern papers, just be careful, do make sure you give it time to fully tack. Yeah, although the pattern papers, what's it, about 180 GSM, it still gives you enough stability for it to be, well, stable. So let's come in with these ones. In with these ones and these ones. Let's come along with my gold, and that's just caught. There we go, I'm fine, I'm okay. So I can see one side of my gold is a little bit ski with. So I'm going to come along, just eyeball and neaten up. There's that one. And that tiny little bit of gold was absolutely worth it. Absolutely worth it. Pardon, excuse me. Well, we're all friends here, aren't we? I'm just going to neaten up my card blank. So I'm bang on 7x7 and I've got no overhang. So before we start to assemble all of that, let's come in with another piece of white multi-purpose that I can do my insert in. We're going to come along into here. And if we go back to the last video that I done about mats and layers, and I was talking about I'll always use the darkest colour. Now in this one, believe it or not, to me, out of my mats and layers, the orange is the darkest tone. So when I say darkest tone, I don't always mean a navy, a grey, a black, a brown, a chocolate, anything like that. It's out of the tone of the mats and layers that you use on the front. So I've used gold and I've used this orange tone, and out them both, the orange tone to me is the darkest. So that's why I'm going to choose and go with my
orange for my main matting layer. So of course that's too small, so I need to come in with another piece, and we're going to go 6 1/4 by 6 1/4. Cardstock inserts, I don't gut with my inserts. I don't gut with the inserts because you can actually, when you start to write, if you gut when you start to write, you see that indentation. So therefore I don't gut with my card when it comes to inserts. It's just my opinion. So let's go along and let's add that to the back and work our way round, all the way round, and then we can then start to assemble these ones. Let's add that on to that, like so. Let me do a little bit of trimming just to make each layer straight. If I've knocked over my hot gun or heat tool once, I've done it a gazillion times. I suppose that's what I get for having it right at the side of me. But then as a crafter, where else are we going to have it? We need it right to the side of us for when we're going to be using it. I think it's because the way I've got it set in, the cable sticks out. So there's my insert. Done. Let's go in with our base layer. Like so. Let's add that on. So if I come along within these ones, there and then there, come along with this last one that we can see just here. So let's take that into position. And I know I say it a lot, but I know that I choose to leave that outer white frame, which is completely personal preference. You can have it right to the edge if you want, but then there is our card coming together. And say that could have been a simple 5x5 if you wanted it to, no problem whatsoever. Let's come along with these layers, and then let's add that onto that. So this layer with the ray of light I'm going to keep flat, because the layer with Mary and Joseph and baby Jesus, I am going to lift on foam pads. And then what I might do is come along with those stamping dies that we've got as extras. Oh, I should have done that one first, not to worry. I might actually use the palm and the camel on its own as a silhouette feel. So let's pop that in, although I might use the silhouette dies from Oh Holy Night, the stars are brightly shine. There you go, you're getting a little musical interlude from me as well. Poor you, because I can't sing for toffee. So let's just flatten that out. Where's my foam pads at the back? Sorry, you're getting the top of my head. So let's add these ones. So these, the depth of these ones I'm using are 4mm, and that is on purpose because I do want quite a deep layer. So let's put these ones. Now the size of them is irrelevant because you can just get 4mm depth foam pads, whatever size, and then just chop them up. So don't worry about them being the same shape as mine. So we can come in now within that one there. I liking that, really liking that. I kind of like how my ink pad is starting to run dry and it's not that crisp, clean impression. So let's come in with this one. Like so. What I am going to do as well. Now I should have done this before, but I'm going to do it now. I'm going to go around. Now you know what I'm like with my ice grey too when it comes to my stamps. So I'm still going to do it within this one. I'm just going to be careful that I don't come onto my base layer. I don't know why I do it. Well, when I say I don't know why I do it so much, I know why I do it so much, because I love the look of it. And it's funny how sometimes you can just see one thing, one technique, and you do it so much. It was a good number of years ago now. I remember seeing Mel Heaton. I remember seeing her, and she's a crafting TV personality here in the UK. And I know many out of the UK will know who she is as well. But I remember once seeing her go around a stamped image with a grey, a light grey. And I just thought, wow. Absolutely wow. And the last time I seen her, or was it when I messaged her? Anyway, no, I did. It was when I seen her. I did say, I was just got in a conversation about stamping or crafting. And I did say to her then, I was like, do you know something? One of the many things that I'd watched and learnt from Mel is many things. But the one thing that's always stuck with me is going round with an ice grey or a light grey pen. There we go. See, just wow. How cool does that look? How cool does that look? And that's just simply with our classic ice grey too. Now, of course, you could do it within the tri-blends if you want to. You could do it with the illustrators if you want to. You could do it even finer with your illustrator finer nib. You've got all these different possibilities. Before we move on, let me just pop all this cardstock back. Let me just kind of regather, and let's just have a little chin wag just for a moment, just while I pop all this away. Are you well? Are you keeping okay? How are you feeling? Are you coping with life okay? It can be a trying time sometimes. It can be a trying time. Please don't ever think that the job that I love and all the fun and laughter I love, I never have bad days or tough days, because we're all human, and I certainly do. And I'm quite open with all of you guys when I have tough days or tough period. I don't so much have tough days, I have tough periods. Sometimes I go in little lulls of just a little bit down. I'll get up and I don't want to get up, and then I'll come into work and then that boosts me up, get the energy going, because I'm with you guys and I'm with Ben, or I'm with either Debbie or Michelle or whoever I'm with, and that just really lifts me up. And then I don't want to come home, because I don't want to come home alone. And then I get home and then I start chilling out, and then do the next day again. It's like, I don't want to go again. And then it's a cliche thing to say when we have tough days, but we just have to try and get on with it, don't we? And it's very, very easily said than done. And I know that it is. I know that it is. Because it is so incredibly tough sometimes. but we all get there. We all get there. Some of us quicker than others. Some of us go through a lot more hell than others. And that does not take away what anyone goes to, irrelevant of the level of toughness, so to speak. What one person can deal with, someone else can't. We need to remember that. For prime example, what I mean by that prime example is I'll speak to someone, they'll say, you know, God, such and such, I've had IBD lately, I've got incredible pains, and it's like, but it's nothing to the extent of the pains that you get, Craig. And I'm like, that doesn't matter what someone's pain compared to mine is, because I've got Crohn's, and yes, I get horrendous pains at time, but that doesn't take away the level of anyone else's pains. There might be a lighter level of pain for me, but that does not take away that that's still an incredible amount of pain for that person. So it's everyone is different, isn't it? Of course we are. But yeah, never take anyone's pain threshold or mental pain or ability away from how they deal with it. So on that little pep talk note, we've got our dies here. Let's bring our stamps and see, I should have sugar lumps. I should have done that before. Have I got, can I take, oh, just manage. Right, let's come back in with my stamping platform. Now this is going to make it really, really uneven because I've got all these layers going on, and these magnetic discs are going to do diddly squat, but at least let's get us into an even space. So let's put them inside. Will that do? Let's move them down there. Let's try and create as much stability as I can. Let's go in with Peace on Earth. I'm going to come down just a little bit over the top. I'm going to use black for this. I'm going to use my alcohol-proof ink pad. In upcoming videos, I'll use things like our glues with our Gildan flakes, and I'll do water techniques when it comes to our pens. If you're in the craft club, I'll do some additional tutorials when it comes to our craft club. There we go. I'm not bringing my stamp cleaner out. Let's just tamp that excess ink off. And we're going to then take that off, take that away. So much for this just being a short tutorial, eh? Let's come back in to here. I may have lost a little bit of that tackiness from my foam pads. So let's do a little scribble with tacky glue. And then let's press that in. There we go, piece on it. I could have done with just moving that along a little bit, but hey. Let's go in and do one. I don't know if I actually want these. Oh my God, if I knock over my guillotine one more time. And I know what you're saying. Well, Craig, don't sit it at the side of you. And you're right, I shouldn't. But I'll never learn. It's just because it's easy if it's at the side of me. I just forget it's at the side of me. Even though it's always at the side of me, because that's where I remember I've put it. just give that a light tap down. Yeah, nah. I know we've got the stamps to go with it, but I don't really want to use the stamps. In all honesty, I wish I hadn't put Peace on Earth on now, because I don't really like it. I don't like that. Right. Sorry guys, I just really don't like that. I just don't think it sits well at the top. So can I take this off? No. So, white multi-purpose. When there's a will, there's a way. What did I cut that white to? What was it, about 4 3/4? Right, let's do 5 inches for now. Let's bring this back in. So let's do 5 inches. Just make sure. 5 inches. Let's bring back in our stamping platform. So let's redo that ray of light. So we're going to, this will, I can't take off that base layer without it marking my card, and I don't want to do that. So therefore, this will essentially get stuck over the top of that. And make sure we get it bang on in the right position. Get it in the right position. And no one will be none the wiser. And neither will I, because once I come to give it to the recipient in a couple of months' time at Christmas, I'll have forgotten that I've done it. Right, let's hunt for that pesky gold again. Definitely need to move the... I've got a busy day tomorrow prepping from home. I've got lots of emails and upcoming show to look over, the products that are on the show, the demos that I'm going to do, but I really need to get these get these Midas ink pads in front of me more so I use them. Let's do, well actually I'm going to keep it just for the second impression, because I like that rough ray look. So this time what I'm going to do is, so that I can get it pretty much bang on that white layer, I'm just going to trim little and often, because remember it was 4 3/4. So I just want to make sure that we're not going to see any of that white underneath, which we're not. Perfect. I'm going to use my tacky glue, because I'm going to come along right up to that edge as well, because I don't want anyone to see that there's an additional layer of white card underneath. Not that they would, but if I make sure that my adhesive is right up to the edge, then that's not going to happen. So let's come right up, press that into place and hold that in. So this is exactly what I would do if I make any little mistakes, any little boo-boos like this. Instead of wasting all this card, all these layers, what I'll just do is I'll recover my main image. Make sure it's well stuck down, no one's going to be on the wiser. I really do think that this card works well without a sentiment. If I didn't think that, I wouldn't have just spent this time redoing this layer. So let's come along into there as well. What I'm also doing this time, so I'm just kind of making sure that the space at the top there equates to the space at the bottom. And then what I am going to do is, I'm just looking at my stash at the side of me of all the gems that I've got. But when it comes to my gold gems, I've really only got, you know, like the cheap looking gold gems. I don't have any like gold. It's just like the cartoon gold, I think they call it. What have I got here? I've got Hunky Dory Pearls, but I don't really... Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I've got some Home for Christmas Violet Studios. This'll do. Now, do I want these? Nope. See, I'm fighting with myself here. So I don't want a sentiment on this. I think this looks nice without the sentiment. But I need something. I need something to draw in. I don't want blingy gems. I don't really want little pearls. What about where's my hole punch this? Right, what about doing that? Where's my... Let's get a bit of gold card. I don't know about this, but let's go for it. So I'm just going to punch. Many of you have seen me do this many a time. Certainly good for the men's cards. It's just like tiny little flat embellishment that are going to go into each corner. Of course, I'll line them up better just shortly, but yeah, I think that's going to work. Actually, I know. And I feel like I need something. Do you know what? If we had a little Star of Wonder die, that would have been good. Let me look at my Oh Holy Night collection. Oh holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night I know. And I know what'll happen as well, is you'll leave me lovely messages and comments, you know, Craig, you could have used this, you could have used that, and I'd be like, yeah, so I could. Now the All Is Bright die cut, edgeable, but I actually want the waste of the star that's in here. So let's take Philip. I think so, because it's a nice quirky shape. So let's take that off. Now let's do gold, and let's see, is this going to go through? Yeah, it'll fit within my mini. So if I take that out, and And then, yes, bang, 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 a boom. Bang, bang, a boom. Do I want these little circles now? No. Nope. So do I want a drop shadow now? So let's try it with, the orange. Let's try, so I'm only covering the star because that's all that I want. And as I say, with your messages, and then when I start to go downstairs to chill for the rest of the night, I'll think of other things that I could have used. But isn't it amazing how what is a little bit of waste is actually quite quirky and it's going to work really well? Yeah, I like that. Bang, that's it. Gold on the front, orange on the back. That's it. And even with that edgeable, you've got little stars that come out, so you could use the stars and dot them about. So let's take that gold away, or that gold away, take that glue away. Teeny bit of the drop shadow. Here we go. Wait, I see me rolling. Right, let's go in with a foam pad. I'm going to go in with quite a deep foam pad again. And because we're on our coating of our black embossing powder, I'm going to pop some tacky glue onto the back. That's it. Of course, you can pop a sentiment along the bottom there. You can then maybe put a little die cut sentiment in there if you want to. I'm not. Yeah. I'm just toying with either like little pearls or something at the... Let's take... Oh, they're more of like a pastel gold. I've got Dreamy's pearls here. This might... Actually, I think this is what it needs as well. Yep. Just 4 in each corner, creating that sort of rivet effect. Yeah. That's it. And this is what I do. This is what I do a lot. It's not the case of I come in with an idea in mind, sit, make it, done. For instance, this one, I knew, of course, I was going to use this stamp set, but I wasn't sure what direction I was going to go in other than using a little bit of Oh Holy Night. So whether I'm making cards for myself, whether I'm doing prep demos for shows, this is what can happen. And thankfully, I've come up... Let's take that glue off. I've come up with a solution quite early on in reasonable time, whereas sometimes it could take hours for me to think of a way to finish off my card or my project. Sometimes I give up and put it to the side and come back the next day. So this is completely normal. So when you ask about how long it takes to make a card, because it can take you so long, trust me, it can take me and the team so long as well. So long. There we go. Done. I'm happy with that. Do you know something? I'm more than happy with that. Really, really pleased with that. Remember, you've got your silhouette stamping dies as well if you wanted to use them, the palm trees and the camel, the wise man, but I'm going to keep it as it is. I like it the way that it is. No sentiment, no nothing that you can see here. There we go. And then our insert inside, ready to pop on. And then there we go. Up close for you. Let's just see that you can see that right. Let's get that lined up, Craig, in the right way. There you go. There we are. How fab is that? I'm saying that, you know, I've made it. But I am really pleased with that. Really, really chuffed with how that's turned out. I said at the start that could be made small. It could be 6x6, could be even 5x5 if you wanted to. And then instead of doing heat embossing, you can do your just plain stamping. And then there we go. Perfect. Really, really, really happy with that. Really happy with that. It's quite a few that have come in with these tuition videos, and I know what I'm going to use. I know what I'm going to use to complement it, but I don't know how I'm going to get to the end result. Sometimes I've got an end result in mind, but I don't know how I'm going to get there, what I'm going to use to get there. So there's lots of different configuration ways going on in my head. Sometimes I've got that clear indication. Sometimes I just have not got an idea where I'm going. Sometimes I know the end result, but don't know how to get there. Sometimes I know what direction I'm going in, but I don't know what the end result's going to look like. And this is what I'm loving about these tutorial videos. You know, it's a shame that I can't do lives as much because of timing, because of scheduling, and with lives, as I said before, totally understandably, if I do lives, need to wait till the end of the day, till after Crafters TV's finished for the day. Or we are allowed to do them during the day, but we just have to do them in that short spell of breaks when it comes to Crafters TV, which, you know what me and Debbie are like, when we start live, 2 hours later, 3 hours later, we're still going. So the next best thing for me is then tutorials. With these tutorials, but what it also means as well is you can absolutely craft along in real time. Now you can do that with me when it comes to the Facebook Lives, and or whether it is on YouTube, and I love chatting away to you. But those that love to craft away, when we chat away in that, I can of course extend that live. Whereas with the videos, although it's a negative that I don't have you guys to chat to live, at least then you're seeing that project made from scratch all the way to that end result, and you're not got any pauses in between where to take breaks or that to have a look at comments or that. So there's positives and there's negatives. You know, I still stand by that. My plan is to still at least get live in every now and again throughout the month, and I am still aiming for that one. In all honesty, it might be from January now until we manage to properly sort something out, because then I've now got coming up, certainly throughout November, if not if I get started in October, I've got my advent calendars to start, or I need to continue with the prep, and then I need to film as well. So it's going to be really, really, really busy. Not that I'm complaining, I'm more than thrilled to be busy, but it just eliminates a few other things such as lives. But then at least then, as I say, because I can film them whenever I want, I can put them out whenever I want, it means I can do them whenever I want. So that's where we're at on that one. But I really, really appreciate all the subscribes. I really, really appreciate those that are giving me thumbs up, those that are then hitting that bell notification to be alerted from, of course, when I pop another tuition video. I've only really, really started focusing on these again over the last couple of weeks. I've got so many avenues and directions that I want to go in. At the moment, I'm just doing a little bit of a mix mash of, oh, I like that, I've not used that for a while, like, let's do a tuition video with it. Right, you've maybe seen it on Hobby Maker or HSN or QVC, and we've not really featured it as much. Let's do a video when it comes to a tuition video. But I want to do water-based tuition videos. I want to do alcohol-based tuition videos. I want to do foil press. I want to do gild and flakes. All of these card kits that we do, all these different avenues, double-sided dies, all these I want to be doing. Flower forming, I want to be doing, just all of them. I want to have an avenue to be going down.
down, so only just scratching the surface. And it's because you guys are just sending me bucket loads of comments and messages just saying how much that you really do enjoy them. And as much as, if I go back, as much as you miss the lives, you love that non-interaction feel of just me and you as you're watching to craft along. So I really do appreciate it. This one I hope you enjoy. And as always, if you make anything that you see within these videos and you post them on social, please do tag me. I kind of go on to social and look at the groups and that kind of in chunks, because if I'd done it as and when, well, I'd be there all day. So if you tag me and I don't maybe reference it for a day or two, it's only because I've not got into that group at that point, but I will do, because I do appreciate any of the tags and comments that you do put. Right, as it stands, as I said at the start, it's Tuesday the 26th of September. Here in the UK, the Great British Bake Off has just started, and it started over an hour ago. So I contemplated tuition video, or do I sit and watch Bake Off? And I thought, nope, tuition video for you guys wins hands down. Once I've done this, then I'll go and put the kettle on again and watch the first episode of the Great British Bake Off. Thank you for those that are watching or have watched once I've popped this one out. Really appreciate it. And until the next video, which knowing me is not going to be that far away, I'll see you the next time. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again.